Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This episode number 1116, Doubleshot number 1054. Two Green Arrow trades, the last two for Volume 5. First up, it is a trade I actually don't own. I have been wanting to get this trade because I love the storyline. This is Green Arrow Volume 5, Outsiders War. This collects issues 25 to 31 of Green Arrow Volume 5. Written by Jeff Lemire, artwork by Andrea Sorrento. Yeah. And the interesting thing about this artist is this artist draws this entire run. Yeah, that's the interesting thing when it comes to a writer and artist. Usually a writer usually has 2 or 3 artists throughout their entire run. But Lemire had one artist the entire run, which was really good. Now, the first issue has nothing to do with Outsiders War. What is the first issue? It's a tie-in to frickin' Zero Year. Yep, a 0 year tie-in. Also, this book, I should point out though, has the debut of Robert Queen. Yep, there's an explanation more of that later. And why I have a theory why that the artist had to give him Green Arrow's beard for some reason. Yeah, in the case of the 0 year tie-in, it's input Oliver Queen just getting back from the island, and that's when the blackout in Gotham happened with 0 year. And, of course, Bruce Wayne is already Batman at this point, and this somehow convinces Oliver Queen to become Green Arrow for the first time in this continuity. Yeah, so kind of in a way, Green Arrow was inspired by Batman, kind of like how he was in real life. Yeah. And this particular issue has debut of 2 particular characters. 2 really big ones. Yeah. First off, it's the post-flashback appearance of Killer Moth. No joke. Killer Moth and Green Arrow. Yeah, there was a meme online that apparently Green Arrow steals people villains, but yeah, this book basically proves it. This book also had at the comic book debut of, I kid you not, John Diggle from Arrow. Yes. My only guess is the reason why I threw him in, because the guy is super popular. And because of this storyline, and plus we have this awesome panel, which basically is the cover for the 0 year trade. Yeah, they threw that in. I'm like, wow. Yep. And it's a great issue. And I should point out, though, Green Arrow price, at this point in time, was $2.99. Because appearance by Batman, they jacked the price by $1. All because Batman appeared in the book. No joke. That was the thing with 0 year, that Scott Snyder was not very happy with this. He actually fought DC on this. Like, in the main book, basically the first issue was for $4.99, basically $5. DC was probably, some higher-ups really hyped for this storyline, was to give them big bucks. So they wanted to charge $5 an issue. And here's the thing. Scott Snyder fought against that because even he realized, though, that was a stupid idea. The charge, what Wonderfully put, is 12 comic books, $5 a piece. That would have probably cost people about $60 to get these freaking comic books. So, kept $3.99 the whole entire storyline. Yeah, and pretty much any 0 year tie-in that featured Batman having a guest appearance, the price got jacked up to $1 because of that. The only books I can think of where Batman does not make a physical appearance in that I don't know if they were jacked up or not were the Axe Comics tie-in. Batman did not appear in this thing. I think he was mentioned, but I don't think the book was jacked up or not. I don't think so, no. Let's see. There were a few others, but yeah, this was a great issue to start off with. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with Outsiders War. It also has the first Chronicles of Emerson. And mostly it's there to have loose setup for the storyline of the Outsiders War. Yeah, it's very loose setup for that. The Outsiders War is simple like this. Komodo, yeah, he's the villain who actually is the main villain of pretty much most of Jeff Lemire's run for Green Arrow. Yeah, he's the first new character that people actually liked. And here's the thing. 1 year after this guy's comic book debut, the guy showed up at an episode of Arrow. No joke, he seriously did. Yep. and he had alibi for apparently for the death of Sarah Queen, not Sarah Queen, Sarah Lance, is that he was in Bloodhaven that night. Yep, and well, we have pretty much in the issue we have the start of also Ziri, the start of Green Arrow's career at Oliver Queen as Green Arrow. Though I don't know if the artist did this on purpose, but for some reason I'm not really sure why they decided to wear the costume that he wore during the Mike Grell run as his first costume. Like, okay, that's interesting. Another big problem there. And also, I should point out though that if you read the trade or read the individual issues, each issue began like this, having the Outsiders wear a logo on the side, and each issue representing one of the clans. We have one for the Spear Clan, like here, the Sword Clan, the Shield Clan, the Arrow Clan. Yeah, each clan gets their own thing, and this was like, the way that Jeff Lemire wrote this, it was kind of like an event within this one story arc. And we have pretty much Oliver going back to home with Shadow. And, well, there's also loose set up for the very next story arc in this very storyline, mentioning about Richard Dragon. Yeah, that's basically set up for Broken. Yep, and basically all works with Shadow, which, by the way, in pre-Flashpoint, these two slept together. Yep, these two did. And it's kind of awkward to see this, to know this, the fact that, you see, Shadow was a mother a lot like she was in pre-Flashpoint. The only difference is the father of her child is not Oliver Queen, but Robert Queen. More on that later. Yep, and simply put, they go out to simply stop Komodo from starting his war. Yep. And it is told masterfully by Jeff Lemire. It's a epic storyline. And also has appearance by Katana. Yeah, Katana's here as well, because apparently she's the heir to the Sword Clan, which that's probably let Jeff Lemire retcon, because here's the thing, the Soul Taker had almost nothing to do with Green Arrow comics before this, and because of this, they threw this in. My only guess is the reason why they had Katana appear in this storyline, and I have a theory about this, because she made an appearance on Arrow in the flashback for season 3, so why not have her appear in the Green Arrow comic book? Yeah. And it is an epic brawl throughout this whole thing. Like, Oliver Queen, and you have Green Arrow and Shadow battling their way through all these people. And, yeah. Also revealing that Robert Queen's alive, despite the fact he's supposed to be dead. Yeah, also, Maura McQueen did show up in the Ziri issue, I forgot to mention. Yeah, and also, if you look at basically Robert Queen, the way he's drawn here, he kind of looks like an older version of pre-Flashpoint Green Arrow. Now, I'm not really sure why in the world they did this for. Also, Robert, that's your son's beard. Why the heck do you have his beard for? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people probably who had read Green Arrow prior to this, like in pre-Flashpoint stuff, like, probably wondering, why the heck does Robert Queen have Oliver's beard? His Valkyrie beard he's had since the 70s. Now, apparently, somebody at DC had a good idea for him to lose the beard. Yeah, which I will be discussing more about that later. Yep, Oliver is shocked the fact he's alive, but the thing is, he initially doesn't believe his father is alive until he brought up an incident when he was 6, only he would know. And he does believe. Also, here's the thing. Who is the mother of Emiko Queen? Who's the father? Robert Queen. Yes, Robert Queen slept with a woman who looks about the same age as his own son to have himself a daughter, Emiko, Oliver's half-sister. Now, my personal guess is the reason why DC did this, give Oliver a sister, is because he has one on a TV show. The only difference is, here's kind of the thing about this, that they kind of borrow this element from the Thea Queen stuff, except that Thea's mother is Maura Queen, not Shadow. And they kind of basically get the whole half-sister thing where the parents are kind of swapped, where the mother, like, basically Oliver's mother is the mother of his sister, but the father is actually Malcolm Merlyn. Yep, Malcolm Merlyn. Just cuz. Yep. Yeah, and everyone's like gearing for war. And then meanwhile, back at the Arrow Cave, we pretty much basically have John Dickel show up in present day. Yes, first present day appearance, and looking for Richard Dragon and various other stuff. And we have Komodo talking to Emiko, who he claims is his daughter, even though he really isn't. Yeah. And he's basically gearing for war. Like, he's like so hoping for it. Like, yeah. So, like eventually Oliver does get a one-on-one fight with Komodo. And, well, he doesn't, Komodo himself does get killed. But he gets killed by the most unusual person possible. Like, at one point, you have Oliver get shot in the head by, well, Komodo, but nope, he survives. He's saved by his father and the smoking hot mother of his sister, Shadow. And of course, Robert thinks that he's his target. And turns out, yeah, the whole thing of him dying, faked. Yep. And of course, Sword Clan brunches into the big brawl. Eventually, Komodo, after Miko reveals that, yeah, Komodo's been lying to her all along. And then, of course, well, it looks like, though, that Komodo's about to shoot Emiko because she turned on him. And then Robert steps in. Her own father steps in and saves her life. And, well, he dies. And then, of course, you have Oliver think he will really want. And, of course, we have a match between Katana and Onks. Now, when I first saw this, I'm like, really? Onks? From the Batman comics? Wow, it's like... Now, I know she did appear on an episode of Arrow, like, after this. Yeah, she showed up for, like, one episode where she fought John Diggle when he was disguised as Green Arrow because, well, they had put him in the costume because the FBI were following Oliver around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it looked like, though, that Oliver's about to kill Komodo, and then Komodo was killed by Miko. The reason? Because he trusts her brother more than her fake father. Yep, and then everything all the fighting all stops with Komodo's death, and the special arrow that symbolizes his leadership as the Arrow Clan snaps. Oliver snaps, basically goes home, and then meanwhile, though, back at home, people are preparing for, like, of course, Diggle's basically filling in for Green Arrow where he's overseas. And then they're surrounded by 5 individuals. Brick, Count Vertigo. Count Vertigo was in jail during the storyline, but he was broken out by Richard Dragon. Along with Red Dart, Killer Moth, and Brick. Now, I should point out, though, Brick and Count Vertigo, here what they are. The Longbow Hunters, they call these guys. Yeah, my guess is the reason why that Jeff had them call these... Why this group is called Longbow Hunters, because it's not to Mike Grell. It almost seems as though that Jeff Lemire is a fan of Mark Grell's run. Yeah. Richard Dragon. Now you're probably thinking, wait, Richard Dragon. If you look at this guy, the first you think of is the Asian character. Yeah. And you're probably thinking, that is no way Richard Dragon. Yeah, this actually turns out to be just an alias. And if you're wondering where the actual Richard Dragon is, his real name is Rico Draws, they reveal in the very next storyline. Yeah, where he killed the actual Richard Dragon to take the name Richard Dragon. Red Dart is just an original character. Killer Moth is obviously a Batman to throw in here. Brick, this was actually Brick's first post-Flash appearance in this issue. Yeah, and not much has changed by him, aside from the fact he's got a sword now. But yeah, the ending of this just sets up the very next story arc. Yep. But yeah, this, of course, was a great storyline. And I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's an excellent story. Now, we're not done yet. Nope. There's still one more Green Arrow trade. Now, Lemire left after the next story arc, which was broken. I'm not really sure why he left for. He just said 3 issues supposed to the future in one shot. I don't really know why he left. He probably left either because He was let go because DC probably wanted Andrew Kreisberg, one of the writers of Arrow, to take over the book. He only did the book for like one story arc. And then we handed it off to Ben Percy, the guy who was the writer of the book at the start of Rebirth. This is his first storyline, Night of Birds, with Patrick Zercher on the artwork. This collects issues 41 to 47. And this storyline basically have Green Arrow get a brand new costume. Yep. Apparently for the DCU stuff, we have a lot of the characters get brand new costumes. Green Arrow gets a new costume for absolutely no reason. Also gets a brand new fancy arrow cave, which appearance-wise looks kind of similar to how it does on Arrow. Yeah. And when you read this, does Ben Percy keep anything that was established with Jeff Lemire and Andrew Kreisberg? Nope. With the exception of Miko, everything is dropped. And I do mean everything. You know what they do keep is a Miko and one of the hackers. Yeah, they keep Henry, but that's it. Does Noe make an appearance in here? Nope, she doesn't. Also, it's hinted later on that Henry developed an attraction to Noe and they became a couple. Yeah. Now, this storyline, yeah, I remember Kat, aka Comic Uno's review of this, and she basically easily pointed this out though. Apparently, Ben Percy just ignored everything that was established over the course of the previous 14 issues. Actually, more like 24 issues. Yes, everything people love about the past 24 issues, just ignore that. Ignore that. We're doing a fresh start for this book for absolute reason at all. And we have Oliver Queen hooking up with this mysterious Latina woman, which I'll explain who this woman is soon. Yep, and he's fighting these masked hoodlums throughout this whole storyline. The one with the red outfits. It kind of looks like, it's almost like these characters are supposed to be Green Arrow's version of the Hand. Yeah. At one point I thought I saw John Diggle one of the issues, but nope, it was just some random black guy. Yep, and then we kind of, this is probably more cohesive narrative with this one than, let's say, with Ann Nocenti. Because at least that Ben Percy has a pretty good idea what he was doing, instead of having editorial interference here. There's more business stuff here. Green Arrow finally has Costa, which apparently he's ditched the hood for some reason. Oh, wait, he actually has the hood now. He just had it down. I don't know why they had to get rid of the costume for. There's nothing really wrong with the Jim Lee design costume. It's just they haven't get rid of it for some reason. Basically deals with a dog ring. Now, who's the main villain in the storyline? They don't really have a villain. Well, they have some businessman who develops his own version of War of the Worlds and thinks he's Dr. Octopus putting these saucer things. Yeah, this takes us the first few issues. The Green Arrow version of the Hand or League of Assassins, whatever these people are. Yeah, they don't show up until later. Nightbird storyline, it's just here for 3 issues, and we also have this pasty white, this Tombstone ripoff appearing here with protesters. Yep, protesters. And 6 a bunch of these robots on them. Like, what? Okay. And then Green Arrow takes them on. Oh yeah, apparently Green Arrow's got a dog now. Yeah, what is this? A ripoff of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye? Apparently. Oh yeah, and the mayor, the chief of police, is full support of this damn thing, despite the fact they're really stupid. They're robots. Yep. And, well, Green Arrow takes them on. Basically, they're taken care of within just a few issues. Yep. Yeah, within just a few issues, and then Oliver goes out with this Latina woman, which I will explain later who this woman is. And you're probably thinking, wait, why the heck is this woman here? And then the Hooded Figures return, first time in a few issues. Yep, and they're after Oliver Queen for some reason. And now I can finally show off who this woman is. Catalina Flores, a.k.a. the female tarantula, the same woman who raped Nightwing in pre-Flashpoint. Yeah, this storyline is her only appearance post-Flashpoint. Because after the storyline, she never appears again. She doesn't appear in any other comic book. I'm thinking, what the heck is she doing here? Like, Tarantula. Why freaking Tarantula? No idea. Also looks like the kind of darker skin tone. Despite like this woman's supposed to be Hispanic, this woman looks clearly black. Yeah. Despite like having a Hispanic name. And clearly, if you look closely at this woman, she kind of looks like she's freaking black. Yes, it is something DC apparently loves doing with characters. Like, change your skin color for absolutely no reason at all. Like, this is not the only character they did with. Of course, they did with Richard Dragon, though Jeff Miller rectified that. Oh, yeah, this is not the real Richard Dragon. This is actually just a guy who took his name. And they also did with Wally West. Though that character turned out to be out the popular West people know that was just another character called Wally West. No, he didn't kill another character to a name. Or making Helen Bertinelli black. For no reason, despite the fact this woman was supposed to be Italian. Yes, Helen Bertinelli was supposed to be Italian, and yet for some reason the artist of the final issue of Nightwing, which is done by Tom King, Team Seeley, and Grayson, made it out to be black. For no reason. Yep. And, well, Green Arrow takes on these random cultists, and he beats them. Yep. Also, yes, in case you're wondering, does at one point does Oliver and Katina actually sleep together? Yes, they do once. It's basically kind of like a Day of the Dead style storyline. Yeah, it's a weird storyline, but at least it's more, let's just say, doesn't like change like last minute. Yeah. All in all, this is an okay storyline to start off Ben Percy's run. There's a really interesting bit. It looks like Oliver's about to be sacrificed, so they basically rip up his shirt and draw some symbols on his chest. Yeah, but lucky enough, basically, well, Tarantula frees him, makes out with him, beats the cultist, and then the storyline ends with him making out again. Yep. And she never appears ever again. Which kind of begs the question, Ben Percy, why the heck did you bring this woman into continuity in the first place? If you want to bring her in as sort of like a love interest for Green Arrow, why did you drop her once the storyline was over with? Yeah, that was kind of the dumb thing about this story arc, is that he brought in a character. Now, this is not an original character, Tarantula. I mean, this is a character Devin Grayson created for her run for Nightwing, who is pretty much kind of like a regular character in the book in issue 71, and then stopped appearing with issue 100, and then she got killed off with pages of Secret 6. Yeah, but this was a weird way to start off Ben Percy's run of the book, which does get a heck of a lot better after this. Oh my gosh. The storyline itself is okay at best. I mean, there's some good bits of Green Arrow. I like the costume is, it's good. I had no problem with the costume. I'm like, what? And I have to ask the question, like, why change the costume? Oh wait, it's DCU. We have to change everything for no reason. The only slight problems I have with the storyline is the fact that 24 issues of character build are simply dropped for no reason at all. We have to get like a fresh start. The only thing they do keep from the Jeff Lemire run is Emiko. That's it. I get want to take out the Arrow stuff, but you have to take out almost everything else that people love with this comic book, Ben Percy. But look, if you get better after this. Final thoughts on this volume. This volume had a weird start to it. Now, you probably heard stories about how books basically writers and artists were leaving left and right because of the heavy, toxic environment that was DC Comics 2011 about 2013. That's how things were back then. And there were some books basically were immune to this. I mean, a lot of the bad books were basically immune to this. Justice League was immune to this because it was Jeff frickin' Johns. And my guess editors did not want to screw around with him. Nope. But in the case of Green Arrow, oh boy, this book. Now, I own some of the traits for this thing. First, you start off with this. Midas Touch, an interesting storyline. Yeah. Okay, start. I kind of wish they, at least in the case of the rare for this book, at least they wrote a cohesive story for this book. Though, the biggest problem with this storyline was the fact for 6 issues we had to go through 3 writers in 6 issues. I'm like, what? And then we have the awfulness that was Ann Nocenti's run. Is anybody's ever read this run? It is pure awfulness. There's a few good things about the run. I mean, toward the end it got a little bit better. And then we have the awesomeness that was Jeff Lemire's run. Which, by the way, was like 3 trades. I had the thing here. Yeah. This is 2 of the 3 trades that collect Jeff Lemire's run for the book. And this, in my opinion, saved the book from cancellation. Though I think the start of this was the Hawkman Wants Across. But this storyline, this run, saved this book from cancellation. My guess is that during the end of the run, sales took a humongous nosedive. And this probably caused DC editors to wake up and realize, though, that we should stop interfering with these books. Well, this book anyways. And just pick a writer who could do this book good and do their own thing. And that's what Lemire did. Though he had to leave after just 18 issues to make room for Andrew Kreisberg. And then, of course, we have Ben Percy. First with, well, here's the Kreisberg book right here. Yeah, this is the Kreisberg run. Yeah, only 1 story arc. And then he left. Yes. No idea why he left. It's almost like also this storyline was also the debut of Mia Dearden, aka the second Arsenal, well, second Speedy, and she disappears. Yeah, just like with the very next story arc, we bring in the character who has not been seen since pre-Flashpoint. That one was Mia Dearden, was a very popular character. And you bring her in, and then you drop her for some explained reason. Yeah, there's no explained reason why Mira Dearden was dropped. She just was. You just stopped reading the damn book. Also, her father was main villain in this storyline, John King. I thought that was kind of weird. And of course, then you have the Night of Birds. You bring in Tarantula. And then you drop her. And then you have a weird way to wrap up your run for this volume for Green Arrow, Ben Percy. With the Outbreak storyline. With the first half, they just Green Arrow turning into werewolf for no explained reason. One thing nice about this is that we had the return of the Green Arrow annuals, which when this annual came out back, I think it was like 2015. I think it was the first time in almost 20 years we had an annual for Green Arrow, which that is quite something for the series. And then we have a 3-parter where he fights Deathstroke of all people. Yes, frickin' Deathstroke, which I thought that was so cool. We got a chance to fight Deathstroke. I mean, nice way to wrap up the run. I mean, I get the reason why Green Arrow had to fight him toward the end of the book, because he appeared on Arrow for a very popular season of the show. This time I got a couple of hiccups, but yeah. People love that second season because of Deathstroke. Yeah, and then we have the Rebirth run. Yep. I'll discuss more of that when I get more of the trades in. Now, that is also it for Green Arrow Volume 5. It had a good start. Oh, actually, okay start. Terrible second run with Ann Nocenti. And then, like, it got up so high with the Jeff Lemire run, with the books were so, like, freaking crazy. A lot of critical acclaim, people loving this book. And then they replaced with Kreisberg, who decided to throw in a lot of stuff from Arrow for some reason. I have no idea why. And then he left. Him leaving the book, I don't really know why. It's kind of like why Jeff Lemire left. No explained reason why. Lemire has never done an interview to say like why he left Green Arrow for. Same thing with Andrew Kreisberg. And he had Ben Percy of the book. Which, thing is, when he was announced to take over to be still be on the book with Rebirth, I think a lot of people were not very happy with that due to how his first run the book was when he started with in 2015 with the DCU stuff, with the Night of the Bird stuff, and then basically doing what he did with the book. A lot of people were not really big fans of his run, and then we come to his Rebirth and we're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this? It's something completely different. It's almost like this is probably what he probably wanted to do, but my guess is that this is probably like, oh yeah. Yeah, I do have a personally why the book turned the way it did. This is like, yes, the book didn't have any major changes to it. My guess is that Ben Percy was probably put there because they probably had Kreisberg leave because he's probably busy with Arrow. So they can come onto the book and be their yes man. But not in the sense of what it was Mark Andrego. Yeah, from what I heard, he was basically DC's definitive yes man when it comes to writing Batwoman. But in the case of Ben Percy, it's kind of like he was told to write these stories and just did them complete random. But at least that they had good continuity with them, and they didn't feel like some complete random stuff. At least characters weren't dropped in the middle of an actual story arc like it was in the Tendies run. Though he dropped he dropped the Chancellor character after her first story arc, which is kind of weird. Yeah. And I know Dan DiDio himself said he said when he did the WonderCon review of the DC Rebirth writers a few years ago, he said that getting rid of Green Arrow's beard was one of his biggest regrets about the New 52. Yeah, that was definitely a good sign of him. I mean, yeah. Yeah, even he agreed that taking away the beard was an absolute stupid idea. A lot of readers thought it was a stupid idea, but yet some readers stuck with the book. Yeah. But those are just my opinions on the book itself. What are your thoughts on Green Arrow Volume 5? Did you like some of the stuff basically the book had? I still think the end of the run is the worst thing of the whole run. Is that her first arc was just so awfully bad. The only thing good about that run was basically the artwork. At least was, even though it was inconsistent, but at least that, even though it had changed for artwork, at least it was still good. Yeah. Yeah, but not much to say about this. So yeah, so that's it for the review. Stay tuned a little bit later for my next two comic corners. My next one I'm discussing two trades that got recent Barnes Noble, and following after that one will be the first two volumes, discussing the first two volumes of Trinity. Yes, so expecting two more comic corners, One Piece and Bards. I'm expecting 4 more videos today, okay? But see you next video. Bye.